All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce you to Denise Bell.
Thank you, Jenna, and thank you everyone for joining us this evening for Creating Communities of Welcome, sponsoring Haitian newcomers. Before we start the presentation, I wanted to do a little housekeeping. As a reminder, this webinar will be recorded. It will be recorded in English and Haitian Creole. We will distribute the webinar and the PowerPoint at the end of the week with other materials to help you educate and engage your communities. In terms of the event, it will be held in English and Haitian Creole. Shirley DeBrose will be providing simultaneous interpretation in Haitian Creole, and thank you again, Shirley. We will be using the Zoom interpretation function, which has already been activated. If you're using a computer, you will see a globe icon at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a tablet or phone, click on More, and you will see a menu that includes an option called Language Interpretation. To listen to the interpretation, click the globe icon or Language Interpretation, then choose your language channel. If you are using a phone or tablet, click Done. If you can't hear the interpreter on your channel, please ask for help in the Q&A. As an organization, or as two organizations committed to language justice, we are so pleased to support this multilingual space. Now we will start simultaneous interpretation. Thank you for your attention, and thank you, Shirley, for providing the interpretation.
Jodi a nou pral utiliser fonction interprétation Zoom nan qui déjà activé. Soit utiliser un ordinateur, ou après yon icône globe nan parti en bas icône là. Si ou sur yon tablette ou soit yon téléphone, cliquez sur plus et puis ou après yon menu qui gen la dernière option qui relève interprétation langue. Pour écouter interprétation, cliquez icône globe là ou soit interprétation langue. Après ça, choisis channel langue ou an. Si vous utilisez un téléphone ou soit une tablette, cliquez sur Fini en haut à droite écran téléphone là. Si vous pas attendre interprète là sur channel là, mandez aide dans chat là ou bien levez main. Asoya nous content en pile, nous gagnons un espace qui supporte justice langage. La première c'est Haitian Bridge Alliance avec Welcome.us qui assure pour supporter un espace qui permet tout le monde capable de comprendre et participer. Merci en pile. Nous allons commencer l'interprétation simultanée en Kounia.
Thank you, Shirley. And again, welcome to Creating Communities of Welcome, sponsoring Haitian newcomers. Welcome.us and Haitian Bridge Alliance are partnering to present this webinar. On behalf of Welcome.us, we are very honored to be doing this evening and to have such a robust attendance. The purpose of tonight's webinar is really to educate your communities about the process for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans, the new humanitarian sponsorship program to help our friends, neighbors, and family have a bridge to safety in the US. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Gerline, who can, first, actually, I'd like to go over the agenda before I turn it over to Gerline to talk about the partnership and our work. So again, we have our welcome. We will go over the Haitian Bridge Alliance, who they are, what they do, a brief introduction to Welcome.us. Then we'll go over the process for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. We've received many questions, both Haitian Bridge Alliance and Welcome.us, about what this program is, who's eligible, how can I participate. Then we'll move on to exactly what is sponsorship. And then we'll go on to the Welcome.us resources that are available to support you on your sponsorship journey. And then next steps, how to spread the word. And with that, I would like to turn it over to my dear friend and colleague, Gerline Joseph. I think many of us here know Gerline, but for those who do not, Gerline is the co-founder and executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, as well as the co-founder of the Black Immigrants Bail Fund and the Cameroon Advocacy Network. She is a leading human rights advocate who was named one of Politico's 2021 40 most influential people on race, politics, and policy in the United States. She has received numerous awards for her human rights leadership, including the 2021 Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights Award, and I'm honored to say is a founding member of the Welcome Council with Welcome.us. Gerline?
Thank you so much. Merci en pile. On est respect for all the people who are joining us today. We welcome you on this webinar where we are hoping that you will be educated and be able to activate your communities to be communities of welcome. The Haitian Bridge Alliance is the only Black-led, women-led, Haitian-led organization that is working at the US-Mexico border to welcome people with dignity and working with partners around the country to make sure that we do the same and we be communities of welcome. We are excited to have you here tonight. And as you heard from my dear friend and sister Denise, we have been working, anticipating for a program that will actually provide access to people to be able to get safety. So I am elated that we together, the Haitian Bridge Alliance and Welcome.US, are able to join hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, to make sure that we engage, we activate, but today we educate as we continue to create communities of welcome.
Thank you, Geraldine. And now we'll have a brief overview of Welcome.US. Again, my name is Denise Bell. I am honored to be a co-founder of Welcome.US. As you'll see in the next slide, we were founded in September 2021 with a simple but powerful mission: to unleash the desire and capacity of people across America to welcome more newcomers and help them thrive. We work in formal partnership with the US government, resettlement agencies, and many of the organizations here and throughout the country. We work again with diverse organizations, companies, and the American people, creating pathways for participation, for welcoming newcomers, and for building innovative solutions. And what we like to do and what we focus on and look forward to working with you on is telling the stories of Americans from all corners who are participating in Welcome. We are very honored to have 4 former presidents and first ladies as honorary co-chairs, as well as a Welcome Council representing, as we say, grass tops and grassroots leaders, high impact leaders who are focused on creating multiple channels of welcome for all Americans. And now we will go into the process for CNHV. So the process, again, for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans is what we are here to talk about. So on January 5th, the Biden administration launched process for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans, also known as P4CHNV, a new program to allow up to 30,000 people a month a pathway to safety in the United States through humanitarian parole with named sponsorship. I'd just like to pause for a moment and to say this program is an expansion of Process for Venezuelans. And these programs were made possible because of the success of Uniting for Ukraine. What we know is between Process for Venezuelans and Uniting for Ukraine's, more than 200,000 Americans have already applied to sponsor newcomers. And we are confident, and as you will hear from sponsors here, that is already happening in the Haitian community, Cuban, Nicaraguan, Venezuelans. So Americans want to do this, and they are doing this. And we are excited to work with you to make sure that you can participate in this program. So how the program works: an eligible supporter files an I-134A to sponsor a Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, or Venezuelan to come to the US. So that is an American, an eligible American, and I will get into that in the next slide, files this form with the US government. Those applications that are accepted, those people will be granted humanitarian parole in the US for 2 years. Now, people who are not eligible are those who have irregularly crossed the Mexican or Panamanian border after the date the program was announced. There are a few other eligibility requirements that we can go into, but this is the main one. So you don't have to be in your home country, but you cannot be in Mexico or Panama irregularly. And I know that there will be many questions. And again, I encourage you to put questions in the Q&A. We are tracking all of those. And we anticipate being able to take some Q&A from that Q&A chat. But to assure you, along with this recording and the PowerPoint, we will be distributing a document of the most frequently asked questions with answers. Because again, the purpose of this is to make sure that people understand the program so that they can participate and encourage others to participate. Gurleen, I know that you wanted to add a few points as well.
Thank you so much, Denise. We just wanted to highlight and make sure that the communities that are eligible for the parole program, specifically for the Haitians, to understand that they can apply no matter where they are, as long as they are Haitians or a partner or part of a family who is a Haitian. And please understand, as Denise mentioned, if you had crossed after into Mexico after January 5th, unfortunately, you may not be eligible. So we are asking people to apply where they are right now. That's what the program is allowing for people to apply where they are. If you're in Haiti, apply in Haiti. If you are in a different country, apply from there. And if you are in Cuba, you can apply from wherever your home country or places you might find yourself, as long as you can prove you are a national of the country. And the two first thing you need to have, and you need to really make sure you understand, is a passport and a sponsor. And we will continue to share more with you. Denise?
Thank you, Gurleen. And again, I'm just going to go over some of the, oh, I'm so sorry, Jenna, if we could go back for a second. I wanted to go over some more of the requirements to apply to the program. Thank you, Gurleen, for adding those points. One is you don't need to know the person to sponsor them. That's why it's called name sponsorship. Many people will sponsor a family member, a neighbor, a friend. Later in this presentation, we will have a conversation about how we can help facilitate sponsoring someone you don't know. We have a platform called Welcome Connect, and we actually will hear from a sponsor who came through Welcome Connect to discuss this. You must possess an eligible passport that is valid for international travel. And of course, that you have to undergo, just like any person coming to the United States, require national security and public safety vetting. And just like with process for Venezuelans, you will have to fly to a US port of entry and to your final destination. Again, we will be circulating this material. The USCIS website listed, as you'll see later in the website, in the presentation. We've compiled all of this in a user-friendly way on our sponsorship hub. But we just wanted to go over first the eligibility requirements, actually how the program works. And with that, if we could talk about eligibility of sponsors. So who can sponsor? Sponsors must hold lawful status in the United States or be a parolee or beneficiary of deferred action or deferred enforced departure. So this is US citizens and nationals, lawful permanent residents, non-immigrants in lawful status, asylees, refugees, people who already have humanitarian parole, TPS holders, beneficiaries of DACA or deferred enforced departure. The government wanted to make sure that as many people could participate in this program as possible, that as many people as possible could sign up to be a sponsor. So as you'll see, there's quite an expansive pool of people who can sponsor. I would like to add that sponsors, it is a named individual. So one person files an application, but people can do it in groups. You don't have to do it alone. And also an organization can sponsor, or your employer can support you in sponsoring. So again, the government has really worked to make sure that as many people as possible can participate so that people can pool their resources and have the support of an organization or their employer to participate in this. We will go over some of this a little bit later when we go through our resources, but we just want everyone to know that the government wants as many people to participate as possible. And with that, we will go over to exactly what is sponsorship. And we will hear directly from Max, who was a sponsor of Afghans.
We were watching the news when Kabul fell, and it really just broke our hearts. And we were trying to find something to do, and we felt really helpless. We heard about agencies in our community that were doing things for Afghan families. I contacted all of our neighbors in our block here, and a bunch of us just started phone treeing and emailing and texting each other, figuring out ways that we could support a family. We began to collect stuff and just get as much as we could. And this family over here got a couch, and this one over here got silverware, and we got a desk, and the things that we couldn't contribute ourselves, we went out and bought. We had a lot of volunteers and neighbors come on the day of the move-in, and it took us about 3 days to do it all. It was a whirlwind of community action, and we just did it. We sort of, pulled up our sleeves, rolled up our sleeves, and started putting all the furniture together, putting carpets down, buying food, and just really trying to be as present and as unobtrusive as possible to a family that was clearly in shock.
I helped build the chairs. I also gave them my bike. It makes me feel good to help other families and know I'm doing it for a good reason and a good cause. So it feels like I'm actually part of something very, very big.
When we finally kind of were able to settle down and hear their stories, and they showed us pictures of what their home used to look like back in Afghanistan and why this was so important to them, it really hit home of what an incredible relationship this was that we had formed between our families here in DC and a family that had been flung halfway across the world into these entirely new circumstances. And I think that to me was just the heart of it, the core of it, was how can we share this love, this sense of home, this sense of community with a family that is suffering such deep trauma. Welcome.
Thank you. And I'd like to turn over to Geraldine, who can then talk about why to sponsor. Geraldine?
Thank you so much. And thank you to this family, the community. That is what we thrive to be and thrive to do. To be a community of welcome, to extend a home, to extend a couch, to extend a spoon, to hold a baby, to really let people know that we see them, we hear them, we are here for them, and we care for them. And that is why the Haitian Bridge Alliance continues to thrive and push through to make sure that we, along with Welcome.US, be able to create the space. I will share a testimony with you, but before I do that, I want to really highlight the need for each one of us to play our part and make sure that we extend that help for those in need. I will share with you a message from Colin, who is currently in Haiti. And she says, "My name is Colin. I am 22 years old. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to share my story with you. I have been waiting for 2 years to get help to be reunited with my sister, but unfortunately, as the only family member I have in the US, she is unable to be a sponsor to me because she cannot provide she can only provide housing and food, but does not have the required documentation to be able to be sponsored." And going back to what we saw in the video, it doesn't have to be just one person. Somebody can provide a home, somebody a spoon, somebody the documents that are required for that family, for that person to be brought up to safety or reunited with a family who is already in the US. And as I'm reading her story, then I also remember that she shared, she was one of the people who were under the bridge in Del Rio, who were expelled and deported, and now she's really needing the help to be able to get to safety. She also shared that her mother died during the earthquake in Haiti that happened in 2010, killing over 250,000 people. Her mother was one of those people. And she also shared that her father, unfortunately, died due to instability and political turmoil. He got caught into the distrust between police and other entities in Haiti. So right now she has lost both her mother in the earthquake, and her father due to instability. So she is reaching out, sharing her story in the hope that we can provide and find somebody who become a sponsor for her. And she says her goal is to become a nurse so she can give back to the community. So we are really, really hoping and praying that we will find somebody to help sponsor Colin so she can come to the United States, study, become a nurse, and give back to the community. Denise, I'll give back to you.
Thank you, Caroline. And I'm very appreciative that we have Colin's story, and thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Colin, for letting us share that. And next, I would like to actually hear from a sponsor, a Haitian sponsor. Caroline, I think that, well, before we go to the Haitian sponsor, actually, I would like to talk about what sponsorship is. And a brief overview. As you'll see, that Americans have been welcoming and sponsoring newcomers in our communities for decades. So as I like to say, it's a best kept secret, but now we want everyone to know the secret and to mainstream it. Many immigrant families were welcomed and integrated into life in the US with the support of sponsors. This has, again, existed for decades. Many people might know it through the US Refugee Resettlement Program. However, again, starting with Uniting for Ukraine, the government has expanded this idea of sponsorship to make it as nimble as possible so that we can have community-based welcome. And sponsors are basically there to help somebody land on their feet and start in their new life and be a good neighbor like we would do for anyone else who is new to our community. Sponsors ensure communities feel welcome and supported in their communities and have the services and resources they need to start their lives in a new place. And so sponsors, whether through the Refugee Resettlement Program or through these humanitarian parole programs with sponsorship, will do a lot of the welcoming activities, such as reception at the airport, helping people secure safe and affordable housing, which we know is a challenge and we will be talking about later for resources to help you. Gathering household items and furnishings so people are set up in their new home in a way that they feel comfortable. Ensuring that there is adequate food and clothing, helping with school enrollment for children, helping with accessing health services, finding employment, and enrolling in public benefits. This can seem daunting. We have developed tools and resources in close partnership with the Community Sponsorship Hub, which we will get to in a second, to help you feel set up for success, which means that the newcomer family is set up for success. Again, this is why we encourage people to form groups to do this in partnership with other people in their community, because as we know, and as Caroline will say so well, we are stronger together when a village does this. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Caroline so we can actually hear from a Haitian sponsor who's participating in this new program.
I've been trying to unmute myself. Apologies. Thank you so much, Denise, for explaining that. And right now, I would like to introduce Ms. Doris Jean-Pierre, who is a sponsor. But the thing that is very special about Doris is the fact that she is sponsoring two people. One is a family member, and one is a stranger who just need a helping hand. Doris, please.
Thank you, Gerline, and thank you to everyone here. As Gerline mentioned, my name is Doris Jean Pierre, and I learned about the Parole program through Haitian Bridge Alliance and by going on USCIS's website, just to learn more about the program, eligibility requirements for sponsors and beneficiaries, processing timeline, and any other information relevant to the program and processes. In addition to going on the USCIS website, I did receive quite a few phone calls and messages from family and friends, and even some people that I did not know in Haiti, asking one, whether the program was real, and two, sponsorship assistance, or even how I can help them in finding additional sponsors. And so I even received some phone calls from friends and family members here who wanted to know more about the steps that they can take to become a sponsor. I then finally decided to become a sponsor and sponsor a family member and someone that I learned was in dire need. I just want to let everyone know that you do not have to be a family member. You do not have to know the person in order for you to become a sponsor. You can sponsor them personally. You can sponsor them through your business, through an organization. You can gather a group of friends to also become sponsors. I decided to become a sponsor. As mentioned on the slide, I was born and raised in Gonaïves, Haiti. And so I know that right now, and for many years, Haiti has been going through a lot of instability, a lack of education and security. And so people are going through a lot of hardships. And so that's why I had decided to become a sponsor through the program.
Thank you so much, Doris, for your heart and your willingness to be a part of this community of welcome. We are excited that you have joined, and I do know, we know that you're reaching out to both friends and families to sponsor your loved ones and sponsor somebody you don't even know, is a true testament of what we at the Haitian Bridge Alliance always says, "En pile main, chay pa l'eau," which means many hands lighten the load. So thank you so much for being a part of welcoming people here with HBA and welcome.us. Denise?
Thank you, Gerline, and thank you again, Doris, for speaking. And we are grateful for your sponsorship and for your participation tonight. And with that, we've alluded to this, so now is the time. We're going to go over the welcome.us resources for sponsors to set you up for success. And we'll now look at basically a slide show that we have of what exactly those sponsor resources are. We have been working diligently to develop innovative sponsorship tools to help American sponsors and the newcomers they support and welcome. Again, I do want to acknowledge Community Sponsorship Hub has been very helpful, and we've worked with them in close partnership to develop a lot of the fact sheets and trainings. But before we get there, I do want to step back and go over very quickly what this means. We have FAQs in English, in Haitian Creole, and Spanish. We have that Form I-134A guidance to help you actually fill out the application to the government to sponsor a newcomer, and including a letter for an organization to support you as a sponsor, to be the sponsor, or your employer to indicate that they are supporting you in your sponsorship. We have guidance on local resources for many of the destination communities so that you know, and the newcomer family or friends know, where are the resources where they can sign up for benefits? Where are the transportation routes? How do I get involved in my new community? And then again, we have fact sheets and trainings. But let's go through the Sponsorship Hub very quickly so you can see actually what this means. So as you can see, our Sponsorship Hub is focused on Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. We have a separate hub for the Ukraine sponsorship program, Uniting for Ukraine. We have a brief overview of the program, and then we will direct you, if you know who you want to sponsor, we'll direct you to the USCIS website If you don't know who you want to sponsor but want to sponsor, sign up on Welcome Connect. We'll turn to that in a second. We encourage you to sign up to be a welcomer so you can continue to get updates and to let us know how you would like to be involved in sponsorship. And then here we have our sponsorship FAQs in 3 languages, English, Haitian Creole, and Spanish. And then we have a suite of sponsor resources, again, from that guide for humanitarian parole to best practices and tips on how to sponsor, ending with 2 trainings that are interactive that really encourage you to learn a little bit more about what it means and make you feel comfortable and set up for success. But with that, I would like to actually now go back up and connect to that Welcome Connect platform so you can see what we're talking about. Because many of you here may know someone you want to sponsor, others may not. And so welcome.us, in partnership with a number of organizations, including Goldman Sachs and Infosys, working with a working group of resettlement agencies, other leading refugee serving and immigrant groups, developed this platform, which is its first of its kind, to match Americans who want to sponsor with beneficiaries who want to be sponsored. We started with Ukrainians, we expanded to Venezuelans, and in mid-February, we will be expanding further to include Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans. And this process is designed to be user-friendly, and it is based on what we call refugee choice or newcomer choice, that the newcomer who signs up to be sponsored leads the process. It has their privacy and security at the front of everything we do. Just a few little points about this. We have designed this we're well aware that bad actors might try to infiltrate, so we block certain countries. We block bots. We've instilled best in practice, best in industry security to make sure that people feel safe and secure here. We don't have personal identifying information of people. As you can see, we have resources to help you, again, feel equipped to be a sponsor. But with that, I think that there is no better advocate or explainer of Welcome Connect than somebody who's actually gone through this. And with that, I would like to introduce Kelly, who is actually a sponsor through Welcome Connect. And 1 second, so Kelly Wheeler, thank you again for joining us. We are honored that you are here as Doris to tell us how and why you came to be a sponsor. Kelly is a military nurse who's turned full-time mom, and her husband is a pilot in the Army. They are the parents of 3 children under 5. They came to do this because they saw the images of war in the war in Ukraine on TV, and they wanted to help. And going to Welcome Connect, they were matched with Victoria and 7-year-old Artem, who arrived in the US on September 3rd. Kelly has some additional stories to tell about using Facebook. They fundraised enough donations to set up an entire apartment for Victoria and Artem. And Kelly, I'll leave this to you, but I will touch on this. How you've been amazed by their strength, delighted that Artem has quickly fell in with the neighborhood kids, and that your children view him as a big brother. So thank you again, and we will turn it over to you, the expert in the house, on how to sponsor through Welcome Connect.
Well, hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Denise. I don't know about expert, but I have learned so much in this process. So I wanted to start off by saying thank you so much for having me. I have become so passionate about Welcome US and the amazing things that it's doing for families around the world. My story begins when the war broke out, like Denise said, in Ukraine, and my husband and I were watching the devastation on the news, and we knew we wanted to help. We just did not know how. We had no connection to Ukraine. We didn't know any Ukrainians, but we still knew we wanted to help. So my husband saw an article about Welcome Connect back in June. And this was right when the website opened up, and we just kind of felt called to sign up and see if we could make a match. It really felt so random and so crazy, but we just kind of said, let's do this and we'll figure it out as we go. So we made a profile, we put a little bit of information about our family with a picture, and then we waited for a Ukrainian to choose to speak with us, because it is led by the refugee. And we had multiple connections, and then we finally found Victoria and her son, Artem. Victoria was pregnant at the time, and she had Artem, her 7-year-old son. So we just really did connect. And so we wanted to continue with sponsorship when she agreed. And so we were approved through the government. It happened pretty quickly through U4U, the Uniting for Ukraine program. And then we purchased a flight, and it was set. We were nervous, we were excited, we had all of the emotions, because we really did not know what we were getting ourselves into. But like you just saw, Welcome has this abundance of resources that connected to their website. They have a training for welcomers. They give practical roles and responsibilities and kind of what is expected of you. And it kind of gives you ideas of what it even takes to resettle someone, because nobody is an expert. I'm not an expert on that for sure. And as I've joined these local sponsor support groups in our area, I've kind of realized that being a welcomer will look different for every individual person. You know, some people have children, some people are single, some are married, some are larger families. And Welcome Connect does give you that opportunity to choose a family that may be in the same phase of life as you, if that's what you want. I chose a mother with a child because I have 3 kids. And so what's a little more chaos? So anyway, it's all in this really easy to use website that I have referred to many times in the past 6 months. But I do want to say, I think the biggest piece of advice that I can give someone is that anyone can do it. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Most people don't want to say that initial radical yes to this because it feels like a big responsibility, and it is, but in reality, you're not alone. I can tell you the outpouring of support and donations financially and physically has just been really immeasurable. It sounds crazy to say, but I've had hundreds of people reach out to me in support, whether it be my family, my friends, my neighborhood, my church, my local community. So that has been incredibly heartfelt to see from me, because I'm kind of the throughput of all of those blessings. If I can end by giving some encouragement, I just want to say, if you take the leap of becoming a welcomer to change a life of someone, literally, you won't be in it alone. And believe me, with my crazy life, if I can do it, so can you. So I personally want to say thank you to Welcome for giving me a platform to connect with Victoria and Artem and their future baby girl, because they become my lifelong family members. And it made it so easy and safe to do something that is just sounds crazy, and that has changed their life and ours forever. So thank you.
Kelly, thank you so much. I think if you were on the fence, now you think you'll know that you need to do this, and you can do it. But with that, I would like to go into our final act before we turn to Q&A. And again, please keep the questions and answers coming in. But let's really talk about next steps, what you can do, and that is to educate and engage. So we've identified 3 concrete, simple steps that you can take, and Geraldine will expand on these. But the first is to spread the word. Again, we will share this PowerPoint afterward at the end of the week, along with the recording of this in English and Haitian Creole. And so these hyperlinks will work, but spread the word using a social media toolkit that we've developed. Email your community, share the program and your support and your participation on social media. Next, update your website to include information about sponsorship and process for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans. And then sign up to be a welcomer. You would have seen that sign up sheet on our sponsorship hub. So you can receive updates from welcome.us on how to sponsor people from these communities who are seeking safety in the United States. What we do know, and again, before I turn to Geraldine, is that many people want to know more. Many people have questions, that there is some misinformation, and we want to counter that, and we want to spread the word, and we need your help to do that education and to raise awareness in your communities, in your networks. And Geraldine, I'll turn over to you.
Thank you so much, Denise and Kelly. Thank you so much for sharing your story, for your heart, for welcoming, and for being a part of something that is greater than us. We really, really, really love and appreciate you, your family, the community, and we are looking forward to having more people joining this family of welcoming. As Denise mentioned, spread the word. Make sure you reach out to your network, to your families, and make sure you provide the right information. One of the main issues we are seeing in all our communities, but specifically the Haitian community, is misinformation, false information, misunderstanding. So we are here to make sure you get the right information and share that. So please come back to our website, to welcome.us, so that you can get the right information and be a part of this journey to welcome people and becoming a welcome community. Please, again, as Denise mentioned, sign up to be a welcomer, because we need more people. And as you heard from Kelly, you don't need to know the person to open your heart and say yes. And as you heard from Doris, you can sponsor your relatives or somebody who is in dire needs right now in Haiti, who are literally asking for us to provide a safety net for them. For those who just joined, my name is Geraldine Joseph. I am the co-founder and executive director of the Haitian Bridge Alliance, the Black Immigrants Bell Fund, and the Cameroon Advocacy Network. And we are working in partnership with Welcome.us. And I myself, as a founding member of the Welcome Committee, we want to say thank you to each and every one of you for joining, for agreeing to allow us to speak to you. And we are looking forward to this long-term partnership to be able to be light, to be able to be love, to be able to be compassion for those who are in need of support. For people from Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, just as we welcomed those fleeing Ukraine, we will continue to welcome brothers and sisters from around the world in need of safety. So that is why we at the Haitian Bridge Alliance have partnered with Welcome.us. So please go to our website. They are right now on your screen. Welcome, HaitianBridgeAlliance.org, Welcome.us. We are on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, at Haitian Bridge and at Welcome. YouTube, Welcome US 2912. Please join us so we can continue to be that community of welcomer. And we will continue to bring webinars for you because this is a long-term partnership. But as we always say at Haitian Bridge Alliance, un pile main, chai palou. Many hands lighten the load.
Thank you again from Welcome.us and Haitian Bridge Alliance for joining us this evening. Please visit the Welcome.us sponsorship hub as listed on the slide for answers to frequently asked questions, available in English, Haitian Creole, and Spanish, a guide to Form I-134A and how to apply to be a sponsor, and other resources and tools to support you on your sponsorship journey. Thank you.